I'm Charlie Bright of Gold Derby, and today I'm speaking with Christian Link, the creator of the Netflix animated series Arcane, as part of our Meet the Experts TV animation panel. First question I wanted to ask you is, how were you able to make this show so easy to follow, even for people like me who have no connection to League of Legends?
We definitely tried to approach the whole story really just as audience members that also would just not come from the established player base, but really would just expect a great story. So that was from the beginning was the goal, and in a way I think we didn't want to translate what video games are into a Hollywood way, but really just wanted to embrace what makes video games special and what makes our IP exactly what it is. So I think at the bottom of it, it was really just, some strong characters and strong stories that are relatable. I know that's, what everyone's trying to kind of chase, but I think it really is just that. We try to stay away from what we call, fight porn, which really just, a bunch of action for the sake of it, but really just have, these grounded character journeys.
So, how did you develop the very distinctive look of the show's animation? Because it's not just the way that the characters look; it's the way they move is just so beautiful to watch. And I was wondering how you developed that.
Very early on, we kind of had the option to either talk to some established studios or to explore this with a small studio in Paris called Fortiche, which had been friends for a long time. We worked on little music videos together. They always had this really cinematic look, this beautiful approach to kind of blending 3D and 2D. And so, it took us a long time, but we just said, hey, they have this X factor that we really love that feels like it deserves that, that larger lens. And so let's invest in their relationship. Let's help them grow and scale up to something like this. We had to just find a lot of answers in the process, built the teams from the ground up. But I think that's really what made that possible. It's really investing in a small studio that had a strong vision. So really, that's on Fortiche, just having that French magic.
And another part of the show that is such a thing to experience is the score for the show. And I was wondering, how did you approach the score, getting the score done for the show?
Mm-hmm. The music we try to make part of the development process as early as possible, because we developed the project at a video game studio. We do have full-time composers, and so I had asked, like Temple was the first composer to join the project. I'd asked him, hey, would you be interested in working on this? And if so, how early could we start exploring really these themes and these leitmotifs and thematics, instrumentations for all these different characters? So really being able to score the scenes or certain ideas really early on, so we could, in the best cases, animate to the music was the goal. And so that's what we did, for the score section, but also for these these pop songs that we developed. We tried to work with artists and also with our internal writing team to get these songs together as soon as possible, because then they can actually inspire what our animators and our boarders do. And so I think that really paid off. An early investment in music made it a bit easier. And so then from there on, it was about just finding the right artists, for every song, for every moment that serves the story best.
Was there a character that you found it difficult to cast the right voice for? Because the voice acting in the series is excellent, but was there a character that it was proving difficult to find the right voice for?
Yeah, there was quite a few characters that were pretty hard to cast. Not only because we had never done this kind of casting. We've only worked in video games. And so, when we started our voice work, everything was pretty difficult. We had never worked with, the Screen Actors Guild. We didn't have the contracts in place. We didn't really even know how to do any of this. So for the pilot, I think we had like 2 weeks to cast and record the pilot, which was kind of bananas. But even then, in the next few years, Jinx was a character that was very difficult to cast just because we knew the expectations would be, there'd be a lot of people who would pay very close attention because she's such a beloved character. She has a very unique voice in our game. And so we had to find someone that could do the intimate, very acted, dramatic scenes, but at the same time also sell these big, larger than life moments with Jinx. And it, you can easily sound a bit too hysterical or a bit too, I don't know, like like she's just kind of putting on a dress, for one of the other. And so usually we would be able to find one of the two. And it took us, I think, a total of like 2.5 years to find Ella. And so, when we heard her audition, it just kind of like the pearly gates opened, because it was really just, that dichotomy of those quiet, intimate moments, and those loud, bombastic Jinx moments. She was very, very difficult to find for that reason.
What was the most difficult scene to animate from the first season of the show?
I would say probably the end scene of our third episode, just because, from the beginning, you get the storyboards together and you're going to have these extreme human emotions that will be acted out, where a lot of stuff is happening inside the head of the character constantly. And so for everyone to be on the same page, to inspire the animators to also kind of make their own choices, but at the same time get it, moving in a direction that kind of serves the story purpose of the whole scene. That took a little bit. And I remember also at Fortiche, when they were trying to figure out who would animate this, that you really had to assemble like a really strong crew to be able to even do this, because it was just a very complex scene in terms of acting. That one was very, very tough because we just knew how important those moments would be. The voice acting was really strong. Mia and Haley and Jason did such an amazing job. So that one took quite a few rounds because it was just so nuanced and everything had to sit exactly right. But yeah, it was a tough one.
I wanted to ask, we are an awards site, and Arcane was a huge winner at the most recent Annie Awards. I believe it was nominated for how many? It was like 9, and it won every single one of its nominations. What was that? What was that like to be a part of that and to have that kind of thing happen?
I think we're very lucky, that we got the opportunity to explore something like Arcane. I think the animated series format, there's so much amazing talent, and but at the same time, we were, I think, one of the first in the West who were able to pursue something that's has a larger scope, that could kind of explore some of the pipelines and the opportunities that you usually only get in features. So, super happy that we won these. I think, it to be honest, it just felt a little bit unfair also because, again, there's a lot of amazing stuff out there, but I think there still is a lot to explore, in that like bigger production scale and the format that I'm hoping there'll be more and more in the future, because I think we all want it, so it was awesome. But at the same time, I think, I think it's hopefully just the first step into, just being able to I don't know, just add a little bit of a new color to the scene industry, I hope.
So another thing that we learned a little bit ago is that we will be getting a season 2 of Arcane, and I was wondering what sort of direction do you think we might see a season 2 of this show go in?
We always said to ourselves that our first season should really establish our characters and get them to the point where they are pretty close to, the version of the characters from our game. So we in a way, it's kind of like really truly their origin story. Season 2, we definitely always wanted to take it further, to say, okay, now that we kind of know these characters and they exist in our audience's minds, also where do they go from here? And so the ending of our first season, it definitely turns a lot of things upside down, and it was really, really fun. We're writing the last 2 episodes right now. There's just every character really is becoming a bit of the opposite of who they were in season 1. So, I know it's a lot of vague language, but it's I guess, just more of the same and deeper.
Well, Christian, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you join us on our panel in just a little bit.
Thank you very much.